Hello and welcome back to Read the Book First. We have returned from our mini unscheduled hiatus. Thank you for those that have been patiently waiting for this episode. This episode is a hoot. I enjoyed reading the book. I enjoyed recording the podcast with Marissa, and I enjoyed editing it, which is just, it's just been a hoot all around. Marissa and I are discussing Meg Cabot's famous, the 2000s hit, The Princess Diaries. Of course, I recommend you read the book first, but this episode is just a joy. It's a true treat, if I do say so myself. Thank you for those who have followed us on Instagram at Read the Book First Podcast and have stayed up to date with the updates of upcoming episodes. December's gonna be fun, y'all, so go to the Instagram, check it out. Thank you for all those who have rated us 5 stars on the different podcast platforms. I've been looking at the reviews and they're so lovely. Thank you so much. And now it's time for the episode. Enjoy! Well, hi again, Marissa.
Hello.
Thanks for being back. I am so excited to read this. I have had so much joy from reading this book in the last week. Today we're going to talk about the 2000 published hit, The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot.
2000.
One of my all-time favorites. Question.
Answer.
Did you read the book first or watch the movie? I'm just curious for context.
Easy watch the movie first.
The movie did come out in 2004.
I did not read these books until I was 28 years old. I read them. It was my after Red, White, and Royal Blue. Actually, I took a break. I was going through my Goodreads today.
Nice.
I read this one, and then I took a break to read Red, White, and Royal Blue for the first time, and then I read the rest of the series in 2020. Fall 2020.
Honestly, great choices.
Yeah. I was stuck at home.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You needed joy.
Yeah. And they were on Kindle at my library.
There you go.
Whatever.
Perfecto. So I for sure watched the movie first because I was in 4th grade in 2004. But I remember immediately being like, after the movie, being like, I need this book, Mom. And so we went to the library and I don't want to say I wasn't allowed to read like Harry Potter and witchy stuff. I was heavily like, my mom was like, that's boring / I don't like it / my mom's like vibe wasn't like, oh, it's satanic, but it's like, it could be.
Yeah.
So don't. Right. But she was like, oh, that pink book. Read the pink book. And so I for sure started reading these in 5th grade and became obsessed. And they're still being published when I was reading the series.
Oh, wow.
I remember crying because I did not get the last book in the series the day it came out because the mail to Alaska sucks.
Yeah. So and you didn't go to Costco.
No.
Like,
there's no Costco on my island.
Yeah, that was my parents' go-to.
We had to go to Seattle to go to Costco.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
And that's like anyway, that's an Alaska thing. Anyways.
But just Alaska things.
Just Alaska things. And so I was obsessed with these books and because they fit that like the like young adult books that don't look scandalous.
Don't look
scandalous
being the key word here.
And so therefore when I read them, my parents, specifically my mom, my dad was like, cool, you're reading.
Sure. That's my parents were like, whatever.
Yeah. My mom just like, I don't know, she's not like super like judgmental about it, but she's definitely like, I don't like fantasy, so you don't have to read it. / it could be witches or maybe say it, that's the vibe of my mom. So this passed the mom check. So it was this and The Sister of the Traveling Pants were my life, which all right, we can dive in, but before we even get to the book, it starts with a quote from A Little Princess, which I also have a tie to as a child.
Yes.
Which honestly we could do an episode on that too, which would be fun. The Secret Garden also. I was obsessed with Secret Garden. That's like the same vibe as Little Princess.
I
was obsessed. The 1993 one specifically.
Of course. Yeah.
Anyways, all these books do start out with a Little Princess quote.
All of them? I don't remember that. Oh, because I wrote, this is a perfect quote for this story in particular. Yeah, what's the, let me
read it. Be all English majory.
Wow.
All right. The quote is, whatever comes, she says, cannot alter one thing. If I am a princess in rags and tatters, I can be a princess inside. It would be easy to be a princess if I were dressed in a cloth of gold, but it is a great deal more of a triumph to be one all the time when no one knows it. Okay.
It's so good.
So good. This book is an epistolary novel, specifically a diary. A young girl's
I love
diary.
epistolary. Oh my
Me too, except for Dracula.
Okay, well, that's because Dracula is boring.
Dracula's so boring.
But Frankenstein, the
Frankenstein,
way it's formatted is
amazing.
great.
Yeah, because Mary Shelley's a genius.
Bram Stoker can get wrecked.
Absolutely.
That's what I have to say about that.
Absolutely.
Anyways, here's our podcast on Princess Diaries.
So we have Princess Mia is in writing in her diary, and the first entry is about how her mom is dating her algebra teacher, and she's flunking algebra. So she has to stay after every day for algebra tutoring, and then her mom goes and starts dating him.
Yeah.
This poor girl.
I mean,
14, at a first freshman in high
parents
school.
are embarrassing enough.
Absolutely.
And then she has to be like dating the one teacher whose subject she is failing.
Right?
Mother? Helen?
Helen Thermopoulos.
Helen Thermopoulos.
Honestly, an icon,
Absolutely.
but not here. A flawed icon.
Not in this book in particular, I think.
Yeah, Helen definitely gets better as the books go on. So we meet Mia, and she's so upset and just like bitching about the situation, and it's just immediately you're like, when I was 14, this was my thoughts. Like immediately. The writing is immediately my brain.
As you and I are very internal people in that, like, we are not expressive with our emotions, our facial expressions. Yes. Different.
Yes.
But like this, so reading through this again, I was like, good gracious. I didn't have a diary. I think I had too many thoughts going through my head that like the idea of picking one out to write down was anxiety inducing. But
I had a diary and I did copy it off this book. And like,
amazing.
For reasons I'm not going to explain in the podcast, those diaries are now burnt. Not by my doing.
Yes.
But I'm out. Honestly,
but you're like, okay, well.
I'm glad I don't have to relive that cringe because I remember trying to format my diaries to be like her diaries.
My friend Anna just sent me this text. You know Anna. And it was like, it was a meme. It was like a haunted house, but the ghosts are reciting your junior high poetry.
Don't trigger me.
I was like, I would rather be in a haunted house with those scary ghosts that like rip your guts out.
Absolutely.
100%.
No. Trying so hard to be a poet.
Yeah.
So hard.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so she is just going through it, and then soon we get another diary entry about her day at school. And in this diary entry, we meet a few characters. First up being, she starts talking about her big crush, Josh Richer, who is like a senior. He's like on crew. He's a valedictorian. We find out later, which I was like,
what a East Coast. Okay.
Yeah, this is New York City, by the way. Yeah. Very important. New York City. Not San Francisco. We can talk about the movie later.
We'll talk about the movie next time.
But Mia is so New York coded.
Yes.
The whole time. Like, so New York coded. And there's some weird New York things that happen in this book that I wrote a list.
Yeah, this is where the like, it's not like racy. But it is. It is.
Yeah.
There's flashers.
Yes.
There's like guys groping people. And
it's wild.
Yeah.
But so she's in love with Josh Richer, who has a locker near her, and Josh Richer and his girlfriend Lana are always making out by the lockers.
How do they organize lockers in the school?
I know.
Josh is a senior and Mia is a freshman, and their names
Richer
are
and
not close.
But it is like I feel like because she mentions the same like random people in the high school, I feel like it's probably a smaller private school,
right?
For like all the rich people,
for sure.
Right?
But an R and a T next to each other. There's no Smiths. There's no Smiths.
Maybe
I have like 12 Smiths in my class right now.
Maybe. I don't know. It is odd, but it's like, it is convenient for the drama. So she's in love with Josh Richer, but she despises Lana because Lana is like same grade, I believe.
Yes.
Also freshman.
Also a freshman.
And like blonde cheerleader bully stereotype, essentially.
Yeah, mean girl.
Like
She's
Regina.
A mean girl.
Before she became Regina.
I actually love Lana because she wasn't much more important throughout the series, but
yes,
she's not like how mean girls are portrayed often in teen movies where they're like outwardly mean, like, oh, your hair is ugly.
Yeah.
She's like she's like Regina George mean, like you said, like, oh, I really like your top, and then you hear her go, like, like it's like, or like,
she's brutal.
She's brutal, and it's like, it's like how mean girls actually are.
Yeah, and then we get the quote where it's like, how come nice people like Princess Diana get killed in a car wreck, but not mean people like Lana or Lana? And that is the kind of vibe Mia's putting into this diary. She is.
What year did Princess Diana die? Because she
like
is all over this book.
4?
Wow.
I don't know. I'm looking it up right now.
That really
Diana.
influenced Meg Cabot's life.
It really did. I remember
Princess
it was
Diana.
97. I do remember my mom crying about this.
I bet she was right, like, kind of in the process of thinking of this story.
There's not that many fun facts about Meg Cabot because...
You know what Meg Cabot series I read? The Mediator.
I read the first one. And I didn't love it.
Creepy. Okay, it's bad for many reasons.
I read it in like 8th grade and I didn't love it.
It's like...
Because she wrote All American Girl. And
yes,
I loved
that book.
books.
I was talking to somebody about this the other day and how the crow picks the red hair out of... And she has to wear the helmet in art class. I love that book. The sequel was a travesty. Oh, God.
But also All American Girl is what got me into ska and my ska phase when I was young. Because she talks about loving ska and I was like...
you know what I never understood about that book? Tangent about another Meg Cabot book.
Yeah.
She gets in trouble for selling art. Selling, like, not like naked photos. She's selling like caricatures of U.S. presidents.
Yep.
Give this girl her money.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, entrepreneurship.
Come on, capitalist America.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'm sorry. What country are we in again? Yeah, not my America.
But like, I love Meg Cabot so much. But she was at the time of writing this, she was a dorm director at NYU.
Okay.
And she talks about in her blog, she has a great blog if you want to go and look at it, talking about her life in Key West with her husband and her cats. It's very adorable.
She lives in Key West?
And like the same town as Judy Blume. And like hangs out with Judy Blume all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. You know Judy Blume has that book.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Judy Blume documentary?
No.
On Prime?
No.
You need to watch it.
Okay. I'm being threatened. I'm being threatened. I know, and I am being threatened.
But yeah, Meg Cabot is like the Judy Blume of the 2000s. I feel like that's, and like she talks about that a little bit, how she's been compared and banned similarly for reasons we can talk about later.
Oh yes.
But
my third note might have a reason to do it.
Yeah, she talks about on her blog. She talks about her experiences being the NYU dorm director and how when she was writing this book, she was like just in her office writing, and then all the dorm people would come and ask her questions and see the door was closed and be like, "Oh, she's busy writing," and like let's kept and let her be. And I was like, way to get that side
That actually
gig.
makes sense because a lot of books where the students go to college, it's like the most unrealistic dorm situation I've ever seen in my life.
NYU one, right?
Yeah. So it's like hers are actually like when Michael goes to college. I'm like, oh yeah. Like you don't get to choose your roommate and like you
don't have your own bathroom.
And you have the same chair that they have in every dorm room across the United States.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, so we've met Josh and Lana.
Montana movie.
I know, but it's in my brain. And we get to meet her best friend and her best friend's brother, the Moskowitzes. So her best friend Lily is like, picture late 90s, super alt, super like anti everything America stands for, essentially.
Like Winona Ryder.
Yeah, very
in the 90s.
Yeah, very much. Like
anti-establishment. Very like, can I protest it? Great,
I will.
Perfect. Sign me
Do
up.
I protest don't make sense compared to each other? Doesn't matter. I'm going to protest because I'm 14 and angry.
Yes.
And then Michael's also a senior like Josh, and Michael is just like nerdy boy, but like always around. And we love
because
Michael.
Michael doesn't have friends.
Michael doesn't have. Well, he does in the computer club. He just doesn't.
Right.
He's the treasurer of the computer club.
Right.
She talks about it like 3 times.
Well, yeah, because Mia is obsessed with Michael.
Mia's obsessed with
That's
Michael, but doesn't
important
understand
thing.
that she's obsessed with Michael.
Yes.
Which is so 14 years old of her, right?
There's this line early on where they're at the Moskowitzes, and like Michael is obviously flirting with Mia, and Mia does not get it, and then he's like, whatever, Thermopolis, and she's like, what'd I do? And Lily's like, he was trying to sexually harass you and you weren't perceptive or something like that. Yeah. That's the vibes we're going with.
Definitely.
Here.
And like their parents are psychoanalysts, not therapists. Psychoanalyst is always what it says. And so there'll be like random things that Lily repeats directly from her parents.
Yeah.
And constantly.
Therapy speak before it was popular.
Absolutely. Like Lily's constantly telling Mia that she needs to self-actualize. Yeah. And so at the end of the diary entries, there'll be like a list of to do. And like the last one is almost always actually self-actualize.
And the lists are so funny. It's like 1, do algebra homework.
2, buy toilet
2, buy toilet paper. 3, grow boobs.
Often.
She's obsessed with boobs.
She's very flat-chested and tall, and she's very self-conscious.
Yeah, yes, about those things.
Because she's 14.
Yes. And the last one will be, like, achieve self-actualization. Which, like...
Or, like, maybe,
that's
like date
pretty,
Josh Witcher or something in the middle of there,
the list really resonates. I'm a list maker
Same.
so hard. So I was like, dude, I do need to achieve self-actualization. Monday to lists,
do. We have often there's different like diary entries, and then there's also like big entries of lists. We have Lily Moskowitz's list of hottest guys compiled during World Civ with commentary by Mia Thermopolis. And didn't we all randomly not do schoolwork while talking with our friends and making lists about things? I feel like I did this all the time.
In college even.
But like now that when I was rereading this, because I read this in 5th grade.
Yeah.
And I did this kind of thing all the time with high school. I'm like, did I do this because I'm just a teenager? Or did I do this because I read these books?
I can provide some insight in this as I read these books when I was 28 years old. It's teenagers.
Okay.
So glad. Maybe you were like, got the idea, but you would have gotten around to it eventually.
I think so.
As a teenage girl.
And like, I had a friend who was very similar to Lily, but like not as hardcore.
Yeah.
But like,
I might have been the Lily to some people's Mia.
I think so. Honestly, sometimes you're the Lily to Isaac's Mia.
It's so true.
It's a joke that only people who have read this book and know Isaac.
Isaac would be a great princess. I said it here.
I love it.
Said it first, folks.
Anyways, here's the list of hot guys according to Lily. Number 1, Josh Richer. Number 2, Boris Pelkowski, who is an exchange student from Russia. Oh, no, he's just from Russia, right?
He's from Russia.
He's from Russia. He's a genius violin player. And he
tucks his sweaters into his pants,
which Mia is not into.
She mentions it about 12 times
all the time. And during their gifted and talented classes, they make him practice his violin in the like supply closet because they hate listening to him play the violin.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Poor
Boris.
Justice for Boris.
Anyways,
and
he's
also,
number 2
but like
on this list. Good for him.
Yeah, actually, you know what? No, fuck you, Boris. You're number 2 on the best boys list.
Followed by number 3, Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. Bond.
Yes. Who?
Hi, princess.
I guess this is pre like 2 other Bonds, right?
He would have been the most recent Bond because Daniel Craig is the only one.
Craig was later on.
Yeah.
Anyways, number 4, Daniel Day-Lewis.
This
specifically
one
from The Last of the Mohicans.
Cannot relate. This one, I'm like Lily Moskowitz.
No. Also, I did not like that movie. My parents made me watch it all the time. My dad loves that movie.
Yes,
that's such a dad movie.
Of course. It was like my dad made me watch it.
Yeah. Number 4, Prince William of England.
Hilarious. Looking back on it.
Yes, absolutely.
2020 looking back on it. Prince William and not Harry?
Exactly.
Okay,
Even then,
Prince
Harry. Because that's what he was
Meg
partying.
Cabot, we're learning some things about you.
Number 6, Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic. Classic. Number 7, Mr. Wheaton, the crew coach. A teacher has made this list.
These 2 girls are like super involved in pop culture. They are
so much, which I love.
And it's all throughout this book. But these 2, I'm like, that. How hot is this teacher?
Yeah,
that he is on the same list with Leo DiCaprio from Titanic.
Which, canon. Yeah.
Hottest form of Leo.
Yes. Yes.
I'll say it.
Yeah, I agree. Number 8, that guy in the jeans ad on the giant billboards in Times Square.
Okay, so like a model.
So like a
legit, like Ralph Lauren.
Who was after this teacher? And after Boris. Go Boris.
Yeah, you know what? Were they in G&T? No, this was in World Civ.
Yeah.
Okay, so they weren't even like just like, who's in the room?
Yeah. Number 9, Dr. Quinn, medicine woman's boyfriend.
This cracked me up. Okay,
I don't know that reference.
Can you? Okay, Dr. Quinn, medicine woman is a TV show from the 90s. I have her in my head. I have no idea who this guy is. Yeah, it's fiction. But it's so this reference, I'm just like, I laugh so hard.
It's one of those historical.
Yeah.
Oh, my mom for sure watched this.
But just like imagine like a modern day, if you didn't know the reference, imagine like a 10, 11-year-old from today reading that and being like, what
We'll talk
is
about
this?
We'll talk about editing to make more current later on, because I found an inconsistency. And we'll talk about it. You have to wait. Not in this list. Later on in the book. You'll have to find out, audience. And Marissa.
I'm so excited.
And lastly, number 10, Joshua Bell, the violinist. Who, I don't know.
Okay, so we have two violinists. Two violinists. You know what? If you don't have a good idea in your brain of what these two girls are.
No, this is Lily's list.
Right. Okay,
so
but the
Mia's
thing about
writing
Mia,
it down,
right?
And
okay,
Mia has no clue that she likes Boris because she's so obsessed with her own issues.
Two violinists, though, too?
Because Lily has a type.
Right, violinist.
Struggling artist.
That's true.
But
hence the model, and Leonardo DiCaprio, struggling artist.
But I just
and Mr. Wheaton, the crew coach, an artist
and
among
James
crew.
Bond. Yeah, but honestly, who is not on that list that should be?
Is that
in
the
2000?
rowing?
Crew's the rowing.
Okay.
Yeah. Who should be on that list that isn't in 2000?
Okay, now we're talking. Okay, obviously swap Prince William for Prince Harry.
Obviously.
Can't even believe.
And I also would swap Leonardo. I would swap for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Right off?
Yeah. Right off.
Kind of excited about you. Also, Heath Ledger, not on this list.
A crime.
But he was coming up
very
yeah
alternative, and
but
they're
this is Lily's list.
I know, but she doesn't like the scary boys though. She likes because she doesn't want a boy that's on like who is her, but boy. She wants the Russian violinists who tuck their sweaters into their pants. Okay, listen. Okay, fair. Those are both good.
Yeah, that's what I'm pitching.
This is 2000. Where are our boy band?
Yeah. I mean, they're very they're very feminist. So I feel like they wouldn't put any boys that have dated like Britney or Jessica Simpson. They'd stick to the girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think that might.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised Josh made the list. I guess he really is just...
Lily's just like, he's hot.
He's hot.
He's a shithead. You should be in love with him, Mia, but he's hot.
He's not sensitive.
Lily respects horniness.
You know what? It's true. Yeah. And this is a consistent theme throughout the
Absolutely.
books.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is. But I love that list. And then Mia talks more about Mr. G, and I think...
Who is her algebra teacher that her mom is dating as a reminder of the horror.
And there's a quote I love that she's talking about her mom in general. Is like, mom's been depressed ever since her last boyfriend found out he was a Republican. He was a Republican. And I was like, damn.
And then later in the book, she lists, she's like, she's only had 3 guys stay overnight. One was Wolfgang, who turned out to be gay. One was whatever guy that would turn out to be a Republican.
Yeah.
And one was Mr. G. I was like, oh my gosh.
Helen.
Wild.
Wow, Helen. But Mia's just trying to get through algebra, trying to deal with Mr. G thing. And then we learn that about Lily's TV show, Lily Tells It Like It Is. And that they're doing they've done a knockoff Blair Witch Project essential thing. But
called the Green Witch Project, where they record tourists saying Greenwich Village wrong.
And saying Greenwich Village instead, which is great.
It's true.
But all this, the shenanigans that they do with Lily for the TV show, Imagine if Lily and Mia had YouTube.
Oh, disaster.
One, there's two roads. Either they would have gotten like
Grace Mamrie, sort of sitch.
they would have become successful and popular YouTube stars, or they would have been ridiculed to death at their school. Like,
yes.
Can you imagine the cyberbullying?
Yeah.
Like, they already have bullies. Like, they have the deal with Lana.
I mean, I guess people just don't like mess with Lily.
Yeah.
But I'm so shocked she isn't like.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's true.
Yeah.
Or maybe people just don't watch her public access TV
Well, yeah,
show.
because that's the thing. It's public access. So, like, no one's watching that. They're all watching MTV because MTV's still a thing.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Music videos.
Yeah. Or 90210 and stuff.
I'm trying to think of what was... Oh, this would have been, like, peak Real World era, too. Yeah,
Yes.
so people are definitely...
Yeah, they're watching, like, VH1 and all that.
Yeah.
They're not watching the public access show.
Yeah.
And we also find out that her parents give her the money to do the show. It's $200 a week, an episode.
Yeah, right. Because they're both psychoanalysts.
Yeah, but, like, $200 for the show?
It's like for the broadcasting rights.
That's a lot.
I know.
I was
Well,
like,
that's because we're poor.
fair.
That's because we're not psychoanalysts.
Like, some of these things I always am shocked and like happens in this book, and I'm like, is this because they're in New York and they're city people and I'm from an island?
Yeah.
And then, yes, that is the reason why.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in a town with one stoplight that they have actually taken out. Yes, that's why.
Yeah. But she's, struggling through algebra, and then she gets home and her dad is trying to call her, and Graham Muir's trying to call her. So her dad and her mom are split up. But she talks about how she spends summers in France at her dad's fancy place, and that's where Graham Muir is. Graham Muir is her grandma, who we will meet later.
Don't call her grandma.
But they're calling, which is weird because it's not a holiday.
Right.
And it's not a birthday, and so something must be up. But she just keeps missing the phone call, right? And, yeah, and so she's dealing with school. Lana starts bullying her because she's failing algebra, like calling her dumb and stuff. And I'm like, Lana's cruel.
Lana is mean.
Lana's
She's
so
a real world mean girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
It leads me to believe that Meg Cabot was either a mean girl or was privy to the,
Yeah, she talks about on her blog, I was reading some of the blog, that she was bullied a lot in middle
Yeah.
school and early high school. So, accurate bullying.
Yep.
This is when she like comes home early from Lily's or something like that, or the next day from Lily's after a sleepover, and finds Mr. G in his underwear at her house.
that was after she found out she was it wasn't?
I double checked.
Awful.
It's good. But
Awful.
yeah, it's because she has a whole freak out, so she's like leading up to an extra freak out. It's like
right.
her day's shit because she's failing algebra and her algebra teacher's in his underwear at her house.
Yeah.
Which, like, okay, I love that Helen, is dating. Great.
Put clothes on.
Put clothes on. If you're leaving the bedroom, you better have clothes on.
It's like, even if you don't know that that Mia is there necessarily,
put clothes on.
put clothes on.
Yeah,
She lives there. That's her house.
exactly. Yeah, and it's like, especially since there's only Helen and Mia.
Yeah.
Oh, and Fat Louie. Fat Louie.
The orange cat. He's not orange in the movie, but
I know.
it's
He's
fine.
an orange fat cat who likes to eat socks, and they have to constantly pay for expensive surgeries to get his socks out of the stomach. Which I'm like, one day if my saffron turns out like that, because he's already turning into a bit of a fat cat.
Oh.
But he does not eat things that are not edible. So far. Anyways.
Yeah. Knock on wood.
Finally, the dad gets through. She has to go meet with dad at the Ritz,
At
right?
the high tea at the Four Seasons.
At the
I
Four
think.
Seasons.
Or the Plaza, or
Plaza.
one of the
It's the
freaking
Plaza.
hotels. Yeah.
The Plaza, because she talks about Eloise for a second.
Oh, and she talks about Trump too.
Yeah,
Oh,
Trump
God.
shows up too many
And
times.
Home Alone. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Just references out
Yeah.
the wazoo that Gen Z
Yep.
would not understand.
No, Gen Z loves Home Alone.
But like, okay.
And
Eloise? Do they?
No,
Oh.
but they love Home Alone.
Okay. Really? God,
My students all loved them.
that's so wild.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
me neither.
Youths.
But this is when she finds out her dad talks about why he's in New York off season, and off season, and some really big news. Mia finds out that her dad, has testicular cancer.
He's in remission.
He's in remission.
Yeah.
But because of the surgeries, he can no longer have kids.
I love how freaked out she is at saying testicular cancer. She's like, it's so embarrassing. It's like, what? No, it's not.
Interesting what you find embarrassing in this book. And then she finds out because it's important that she know that he can't have kids because she is the one sole heir to the throne of Genovia, and she finds out she's a princess. And she freaks out and excuses herself to the restroom and runs to the Central Park Penguin Zoo. Yeah,
she goes to the polar bears first, which is a choice that I agree with. And then she goes to the penguin.
Yes. I also agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
because she likes the there is literally like a 2-page diatribe from Mia about this polar bear who was depressed until they like gave it toys.
Yeah.
It's a very long paragraph. It's multiple paragraphs. But anyways, yes, she's very upset because, and this is like basically a quote throughout the rest of the book, I'm already such a freak, and now you put a princess on top of
tall,
that?
I'm flat-chested, I'm failing algebra, I have no boyfriends, and I'm a princess.
My mom is dating my algebra teacher. A boy will never like me.
Yeah, and she ends the like freak out entry of being like, where'd he go? She goes, if I'm a princess, then why don't I even need to know algebra?
Yeah. Which is it's
a very valid
question.
Point. Yeah.
To be well-rounded, I suppose.
Yeah. But we also find out that the main export of Genovia is olives and olive oil, which we gotta just take a note of for next episode, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She also has a quote in this like ranting section about figuring out that she's a princess is that my mom doesn't believe in what she calls the cult of patriarchy. And like these quotes, I think about myself in 5th grade. This book shaped so much of me. And there's some other things that I'm like, I took this out of this book and I went to the store and I became that thing. Like, oh, this book.
Yeah.
Very important to me and who I am now.
Yeah. I love Mia in the books. We'll talk about it next week, but yeah. I love the movie Mia too, but the book Mia is just like, she's very teenage, very 14, very accurate representation of a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, and
who
like
is
the
very
good and
internal
the bad ways.
And very like much a people pleaser and a liar because she's a people pleaser.
Yep. The first line in the whole book is I'm tired of how much I lie or something like that. She just is constantly lying.
And it gets her into literally so much shit throughout the rest of the series, like relationships where she just lies to herself. But yeah, I really love.
Another quote in this section when she's freaking out about being a princess is nobody messes with the girl in combat boots, particularly when she's a vegetarian. And I was like,
that's really true though.
It's true. And me as a vegetarian when I was young was like, oh,
I need combat boots.
It's power. I did eventually get combat boots.
Yeah. I like that this school they let them wear whatever shoes they want with their uniform. Yeah. Because I would also choose combat boots.
I also like how we have not talked really in the drama of becoming a princess.
Oh, yeah.
We're just like, yeah, she's a princess. Move on.
Right. I just think it's like a non-issue in this particular book. Obviously, as she gets more and more like kind of into her duties, it's like there's like lots more drama. But when she finds out, it's like, well, okay.
She's like, okay, but I'm going to go look at penguins.
Yeah, she's upset. Yeah. But it's not that she's not upset because she's a princess. I think she's upset that she was lied to, like
for her whole life, which is fair.
Actually, it's funny because there's this whole segment about how she has written like this World of Civ report on Genovia, and she like looked up all this stuff in a thesaurus or encyclopedia, which is hilarious. Yeah. Not a thesaurus, embarrassing. And then she like, there was a picture literally of her dad, the Prince of Genovia, in this I almost said thesaurus again. Gosh, this encyclopedia. And she like she didn't even recognize him.
They told her that he was like a
He had-
politician, like an embassy,
Right, they
like
took-
an
like,
embassy
yeah.
for Genovia.
Yeah, right. They
Which
told her
is-
she was or that he was a politician. But it's like it's a picture of your dad, and
also
she's like,
well,
he doesn't have hair. I'm like, okay, but like neither does my dad really, and I can look at a picture of him with hair and be like, look, that's my dad.
Yeah. And
I
like,
know my dad.
Yes, she doesn't live with him year round, but also you spent all summer with him in a mansion in Paris.
But I'm wondering
France.
how much time he actually spends with her.
Fair.
Because she talks about it throughout the book where it's like, oh, like he's always with his girlfriends, sometimes like multiple.
Yeah, they're always like models.
Yeah, like sometimes he'll like dump one and then 2 weeks later one more
But
will
he
show
goes
up.
to Beauty and the Beast on Broadway with her,
It's
which she's
true.
seen like 5 times or something ridiculous. And she loves it.
It's like their thing.
Yeah, which is so sweet.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, she just did not do her research. But also I'm curious, like,
shocker.
yeah, but like, obviously if the internet was like not like it was newish, right? Not many people had as much access to it, obviously, as today. So they didn't report that he had a daughter.
Right,
like,
there was no Wikipedia.
there's no Wikipedia, but
Not a Wikipedia that was like usable by the masses.
so like they just like kept it secret, which like would probably be a really hard secret, especially with Grandmere.
Yeah, she's.
Ugh.
We'll talk about Grandmere, but
Yeah, I assume.
yay.
Yeah, but the next day, the next morning before she goes to school, she usually like takes the subway and walks with Lily. Her dad's like, "No, you're taking my driver and Lars in the car, who we love." Lars.
Yes, we love Lars. This has always like struck me as being real messed up. It's like, oh, so she really wasn't that important until she was the heir.
Until she's the heir. I thought
That's messed up.
but I
bruh.
also think it's partially. I could see that being Helen being like, I'm raising her as a normal kid because me as a person am anti everything this is.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of that vibe, which is what I just took it for. But also, if any, like, and also Genovia is supposed to be like essentially Monaco.
Morocco.
Morocco, thank you.
Or no, not Morocco. Monaco.
Monaco,
Yes,
thank you.
sorry.
So yeah, Genovia's supposed to be Monaco. So like, just a small country of rich people.
Princess Grace, right?
Yeah.
The American princess.
But so like, yes, they're not going to be as much conflict that they'll have to worry about, like, I don't know, assassins or some shit. Like, I don't know what they have to worry about.
Right.
So like, maybe that's a reason that it's not like it was a country that was like actively at war with someone.
Right. It's not like,
or,
Tina, who's like a Saudi Arabian sheik's daughter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that's probably like Helen was able to like.
Yeah.
That's what I think in my brain, at least.
And okay, yeah.
You know. That's,
honestly, like,
but it is a little like if I was Mia, I'd be like, that's fucked up.
Oh, now?
Yeah.
Now you care?
Yeah. But me as a reader, I'm like, it's fine.
But also, like, Mia doesn't even clock that ever.
No.
She's like, this is the most embarrassing thing to be dropped. I mean, you have to imagine being dropped off to a New York, like, a school in the middle of New York City that, by a car.
Yeah.
By, like, a big, black, giant car with this, like, giant...
It's like, oh, your parents don't trust you to go on the
Hungarian
subway, right?
Exactly,
It's like that,
yeah.
like, instead of just, like, your parents have time to drop you off, which is, like, what it was,
Right.
like, growing
there's,
up.
like, rich kids, and then there's, like, rich kids. Yeah.
Where you're so rich, you want to do the things that poor people do.
Right.
Yeah, like the full...
Like, oh, I'm going to go on the subway.
Yeah, exactly. But Lily is... Mia's acting weird because Mia does not want anyone to know she's a princess because she thinks it'll make her more of a freak. And so Lily clocks right away that she's upset, and Mia's like, I don't know, PMS is like what she says.
And Lily's like, wrong. You had your period last week.
Yeah, which I like.
Excellent.
Love.
Yeah,
which is so accurate when if your best friend knows exactly when you had your period in high school. Like, yes, I know you had it last week.
I love Mia's plan. She's like, I'll only be a princess when I go to Genovia, and it's like. I am seeing a few fatal flaws for that plan.
She is failing algebra.
Yeah, sure. The equating isn't going so well.
Yeah. Yeah, she has a day at school, and it's relatively normal, and they're about to they're supposed to do an episode of Lily Tells It Like It Is, and we find out that Lily has a stalker, specifically a foot fetish stalker. Norman, who she wants to dedicate a whole segment to her shoes to show off to Norman so that he can quote, do something crazy, like get a gun and shoot at us. That's what they say. That me and Lily
teenage
plan. Lily. And like,
and so Norman has already tracked them down, like tracked down where they live,
like, talk about
and
how they
followed them through a park.
Yeah, they like ran around and they loved it. They talk about loving it, which I was like,
no.
Okay, so this is a very New York thing because I feel like a very kid raised in New York, because being chased around a park and you had fun about it because probably you had to dissociate enough that it happens.
Right. And like, I feel like they were like, oh, we know where the cops are. Like, they're super close.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
What? Yeah.
What?
And her parents are trying to get her not to do this, so they're like threatening to take away the money.
Right. Lily's parents.
Yeah, Lily's parents. But so this is their plan to do, but then also they talk about how they ran past like crack houses and stuff.
They say the word crack
a lot.
And then like
Michael's username is Crackhead.
Is Crack King.
Crack King, and then he has Crackhead as his zine.
Yeah.
And I've like read this and I had two thoughts. One, they use the word crack a lot and like weird.
Right.
But also I remember the word crackhead being used way more when I was like in middle school.
Yeah,
it is like a problematic phrase now. Like I would never call someone that.
Yeah.
But also it
has very racist connotations.
It definitely is. It's not great. But like me in 2005, I don't think I knew what crack was, or any drug for that matter.
No, I grew up in Idaho.
Yeah.
I definitely had next to no idea.
I had no idea.
I definitely knew it was a drug.
Drugs. There was alcohol and there was drugs.
Because like I grew up in North Idaho, so meth, right, is a thing. Yeah.
But I didn't know. But like in 5th grade, we hadn't like learned about the different types of drugs.
Right. Yeah.
Want to know an embarrassing story about me in 5th grade?
Yes.
Okay. So we had a project where we had to like write a PSA for the younger school age kids and like a puppet show to give to our like reading buddies or something. And I wrote one about how throwing rocks at people was really mean.
Well,
and
accurate.
And I had a classmate who like now is a really cool photographer in Portland, like super cool. But anyways, he was very punk, like we're all black, like was the kid that listened to like Green Day and all that, like of the group. And he was like, I remember we were talking about just in general, like raising our hands, like what's the bad thing you're talking about? And I was like, oh, throwing rocks. Or like, I didn't say mine yet, but he talking about, mine's about people getting stoned. And I remember raising my hand and being like, oh, mine's also about that. But he meant, meant
from the marijuana.
Yeah, for the devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like in the Bible, they got stoned. This is what I'm talking about. Because that's what I took from like my Bible stories. Was like, it's bad to throw rocks at people.
Well, two sides of the same coin.
So when I was reading this book, there's no way I knew what that meant.
Crackhead? No.
Yeah, there's no way I could probably just like by context mean like wild people.
This is one thing. This is another thing where it's like this book is not like middle grade, I would say. Mm-mm. It's meant for like
14. Like,
yeah.
I'd say like it is, but also like reading it, Meg Cabot talks about this, that she likes it shelved in middle grade for the first 3 books because it's lower reading level, so that, and classic diary books, they're great entrance for kids to read the books. I mean, we're obsessed with the Royal Diaries and Dear America. Absolutely. Yes. And so that's why she pushes for them to be the first 3 to be in middle grade because of that. And also for like similar to Judy Blume, like these are things that middle schoolers do deal with. And mostly I will say, like, you and I didn't have to deal with, I think, as much of this because we were in such small towns that were so isolated. Whereas if we were, and honestly, just twice the size of our town, we would, just
probably
deal with it, right? So I think that's similar. Like, I remember, like, girls in middle school were getting pregnant in my small town.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
they were definitely having sex at the very least.
But
and like dating high schoolers.
Right?
Odd and strange.
So like, I knew this happened, but everyone, I think the small townness of it is that was more like, oh, you don't talk about it.
Right.
Where in a bigger community, you probably are more likely to like gossip maybe, or like not just gossip, but more like be more explicit about your gossip. Right. So I think that's what like, I think of how thought about it. I thought about that a lot with this book because there is stuff in here that I'm like, I don't know if me at this middle school should have been reading it based off how my family wanted to raise me. Right. But also, absolutely, a lot of middle schoolers are dealing with all this stuff, right? So like, it's a weird mix.
Right.
But it's like, there should be like a between middle grade and...
Right.
Because middle grade goes down to like 4th grade. It's upper middle grade, lower YA.
Like I would suggest this for like actual teenagers like 13 and up.
Yeah.
But below that,
right? And the first 3 are shelved in middle grade for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
It makes sense, but also, I mean, it's a tough thing.
It's
right, because you want.
Yeah, in these ones, she hasn't gotten the first 3 make sense because she doesn't get with. Spoiler alert. She does not get with Michael until the third book.
Yeah.
So, and then like after that, it's like the precious gift of her virginity. That is not my words. That is a literal quote that she says thousands of times in the book.
It's true.
I do not consider virginity a precious gift. Yeah. So I guess that makes sense. There's like.
There's the first
and
3.
She's like, she like has a boyfriend at that point, and she's like kind of entering into like, what do I do?
And then if you think about like the Judy Blume books that are also shelved in the middle grade, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and are banned out the freaking wazoo.
Yeah. So
like, menstruation?
Right?
Disgusting.
So like they're a very similar world, right? So I don't know. I think
Yeah. It kind of, I get it. It's just
like the
funny.
Stalker stuff is.
It's just funny that there's like like moms like yours where they're like, oh, this is a pink book, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then
I read so many pink books.
Yeah, she's like, my boobs are small.
Yep, it's just a hoot. Oh, I don't know where we were.
Me neither.
Oh, I wrote down, I like this part where she's like still mad, and she's mad about the whole princess thing. And like she starts complaining about her parents, and she complains about her parents of who they are. Like she talks about her mom. She goes like, sometimes I wish my mom was more of a mom and less of an artist. And then the other times is like, then her dad, she's like, I hate that he's a prince.
Yeah.
So she's like very
Mia like pays the bills, and like not money wise, but like she makes sure the payments are in. She does the grocery shopping. Yeah.
She's very parent and responsible in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think Mia says like her mom is not irresponsible with her, but she's irresponsible with literally everything else, which to me it's like, okay, well that means you're picking up like slack that you should not be picking up.
Yes. Yeah.
Which all this is like contributing to ultimately like Mia. You can see the framework for how she is going to be like an amazing princess, like an amazing. And in Genovia, it's not like a figurehead ruler, right? Like that's the point. It's a principality. So the prince, at least for this book, it changes later on, but at least for this book, it like their monarch, their prince or princess is their head of state. Yeah, it is their president, their prime minister, their government like head. So like you can just see Meg Cabot setting up Mia to be this like, she's really like humble, and she's like, it's like how we always talk about how you either were pretty when you were younger or you have a personality. Yep. So
Mia for sure has a personality.
Yes, Mia has a personality. Yeah. You can grow into being pretty, but if you start pretty, no personality. But yeah, like, and she's like very, she's like dramatic and she's like bombastic, and like she's very like, she basically will keep all her emotions in until she explodes.
And she explodes.
And she does. And yeah, I just think like, but it's all, everything is setting Mia up. It's like, oh, okay. I like, she has a very strong sense of justice, which we can talk about later. But yeah, I think like all of this is setting up Mia to be like, oh wow, she's like gonna be actually really prepared. I said it out loud. I was like, is this how we should raise like all of our monarchs in like a single parent household where one of them is like a starving artist or something? Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know about the ethics of that, but I was like, damn, maybe the world would have been a better place.
Yeah. But like, it's, so back to catch us up where we left off. So she's pissed off. Her dad's telling her that she has to do all these duties, and her dad's talking about taking her out of high school and to go start studying in Genovia. And so she's very upset because obviously she doesn't want to change her whole life this fast, right? So she freaks out. After her school on that Friday, she skips her algebra tutoring and she goes to the Moskowitzes. And I have a Y2K alert. It's my first Y2K alert. Her dad's trying to call Lily's house.
I know exactly what it is.
But he can't get through because Michael's online writing his
webzine.
His zine. And so the dad gets extra pissed off because he can't get through because the phone line's on hold.
And the reason they don't get a second phone line is so that Michael can be on the internet and they can get phones is because there isn't enough numbers in the area code.
And the mom, Miss Moskowitz, is like,
so
sorry, Doctors Moskowitz.
Yes.
Was like, no. And I think it's funny. But then we have like a classic like sleepover kind of scene where like they're chilling and they're talking shit. And there's Lily and Mia are talking about, again, how hot Josh Richer is. And then Michael comes in and is like, oh, Michael's like, why are you obsessed with him, Mia? Because like, one, obviously Michael's in love with Mia and it's so obvious. But two, like he talks about like he only wants girls that put out. Like,
right.
And then they start like talking about it and Mia's like,
no, he's sensitive. He looked into my soul once.
Once at a store.
Yeah. Okay. Mia?
Yeah. And then Lily's like, I would put out for him if we were the last two reproducing humans.
Nuclear waste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they start talking about who who would rather game. Like, you know, this person to this person. But randomly, she talks about how Mia talks about how she sees part of Michael's chest, and then she just writes, I like chest hair, I think.
Right.
And I'm like, girl.
Mia is,
girl, you are obsessed and you don't know it. You don't know it.
Yeah. Mia.
But,
and also, Michael, because like, just talk to her like a normal human. But she's always like, he's so mature. I'm like, nope.
But also, we get a red flag from Michael in the section. He talks about how because here's a list of what when Mia would put out for Josh Richer. Here's a list of the situation. 1, we've been dating for at least a year. 2, he pledged his undying love to me. 3, he took me to see Beauty and the Beast on Broadway and didn't make fun of it. And then Michael says, no, like, guy with the testosterone.
No person with any level of testosterone
would go to that without crying. And I was like, Michael's red flag. He's not many, but that's a Michael red flag.
All men have some level of testosterone. I'll just say that.
All people, right?
The person who plays the Beast...
Yes.
In the Beauty and the Beast musical on Broadway, man with testosterone.
Yeah. Wait, don't all people have testosterone though?
Yes.
You're a scientist?
Yes. It's
okay.
But
women
like have it at much like much lower levels because we're constantly making it into estradiol.
Yeah.
Which is estrogen. Just calm down, everybody. Yeah. But yes. But like, what are you talking about?
Right, Michael?
Michael,
yeah.
You think you know this is a problem with boys who think they know everything in high school.
That's Michael. I mean,
yeah, and then he only gets like kind of like people are like, you do know everything.
Yeah.
It's like, no. This is this is a problem in science. It's people with Nobel Prizes and it's like, oh well, I know everything because I have a Nobel Prize. It's like, yeah. And then they're like giving advice on like during the pandemic, there was this guy who had a Nobel Prize in like physics. And he was like, well, vaccines don't really work. It's like, shh, shut your mouth.
God.
What is your Nobel Prize in? Not medicine or physiology? Then shut the hell up. Yeah. And that just starts early, it turns out.
Another Y2K thing that would never happen and that is terrifying. She briefly mentions that at Christmas, Lily, Mia, and a couple of her friends went to go see, instead of going to the movies that they told their parents, they went to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which love. But they ran out of money to get a taxi home and were out until 2 a.m.
Yeah, on time, like in Times Square. And they live in Greenwich Village.
Yeah. And this is the previous Christmas, so they were in 8th grade, and they were like 13, maybe 14.
Yeah.
Terrifying, right? This is not just like a small town thing.
At a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Huh?
At a showing of Rocky Horror Picture Show. How old were you? when you first
Watched it?
Yeah.
Junior year in high school?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it
was probably
yeah.
about the same.
Yeah.
8th grade.
8th grade.
It's so young.
But that gives the context for the rest of the series,
true,
right?
yeah.
Is that they're going to Rocky Horror Picture Show in 8th grade by themselves with no adults, running out of money for
Not keeping track
taxi.
of their money. None of them are Virgos. I'll tell you that right now. As a Virgo, no.
Yep. But like terrifying, but also a Y2K alert.
Yeah.
That I wrote down. Yes. And so
because no Uber and no phones.
No Uber, no phones. Mia eventually gets home and her dad is at the apartment.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, no more.
It's hard. This book is so great. But we get to the apartment and Mr. G ratted on Mia for skipping the algebra tutoring.
Yeah.
Because of course he's going to. He's
Right,
dating
she's
her
like-
mom. You saw him in his underwear. There's no more secrets.
Right.
No more secrets.
And also, he was probably just like, is Mia okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
She's like, he ratted on me. It's like, he's probably like, is she alive? As an adult.
Yeah.
I was like, I would be like.
in New York City.
Yeah.
Big city. Anyways. But dad's there, mom's there, like, we need to settle this. We're going to make a compromise. So they make a compromise. Mia gets to stay in New York. She gets to keep going to her school. She gets to keep seeing her friends. But she has to do all the princess things that she can that go with her school schedule. And she has to do, well, she doesn't find out about this part, but we know that she has to do princess lessons. With Grandmere. But she has to go and, do all the princessy things until she's 18. And then she'll go to be a full-time princess, even though she wants to go to Green or college.
Yeah.
But she wants to go to Greenpeace and save the whales.
No comment.
But it's very 2000s vegetarian 14-year-old to want to do that, right? Like it checks out.
Yeah. She also has to spend, is it just summers or summers and holidays?
Holidays.
In Genovia.
Yeah.
And she's all stoked.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't met Grandmere yet, but Grandmere is a character.
Very much.
And she thinks that she won't have to interact with Grandmere.
Because Grandmere lives in France.
Because Grandmere lives at this like palace in France, basically.
Not true.
And she's like, hell yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Jokes on me.
Yeah. And then we have a little cute IMing. And IMing, the instant messaging,
Y2K alert.
Y2K alert 1.
Hard.
Yeah, but also
Fat Louie is Mia's her username.
But I'm pretty sure his name is Crack King the whole time, huh?
But it changes in different, because remember he like gives up the webzine because he becomes like a Linux freak. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't computer. So
yeah, he does change the name eventually, kind of.
But she's always Fat Louie.
She's always Fat Louie. So which is honestly
consistency.
A great name. Or if it's FT, so Fort Louie.
Fort Louie.
Which sometimes I read because my brain's like Fort. No. But another within this, so yes, Y2K alert for the IMing. The IMing is way more popular in the other books. It's only like twice here.
Yeah.
Which I like rereading it. I was like a little bit shocked. I remember it being
Michael.
a huge part. Michael's not as much of it's the first book.
Like the IMing is all with Michael though.
Yeah.
I think she IMs with a lot of different people.
Yeah. But this one's only Michael, yeah. But she has to get she gets yelled at, or either Michael or Mia get yelled at to get off the computer, but they spell offline OFF-LINE. And I was like, this is so Y2K.
Y2K alert.
Y2K alert. But I just like that. Do we have an ode to algebra? Yes.
Here's your ghosts, but they only
but they only read your poems.
But they only read your
poems.
And
the poems become odes in general become way more popular in the other books as well. But here is Ode to Algebra.
Oh, good.
The first word of gosh.
Our very own princess is joining us.
Princess Nori.
Princess Nori. Okay, we're going to listen to the Ode to Algebra, and I'm going to give you pets.
All right. Ode to Algebra. Thrust into the dingy classroom, we die like lampless moths, locked into the desolation of fluorescent lights and metal desks. 10 minutes until the bell rings. What use is the quadratic formula in our daily lives? Can we use it to unlock the secrets in the hearts of those we love? 5 minutes until the bell rings. Cruel algebra teacher, won't you let us go? And then her homework listed on the bottom.
Yeah. No,
And
okay.
algebra always being question mark, question mark, question. And also, she always write G&T, the good and talented class. It's always none.
It's always
Why
none.
are you writing it if
Yeah.
there's none? You know there's none.
Yeah, Mia takes a lot of like notes, and her notes are like useless.
Yes.
Like
They're
her,
one vocab
it's like
word.
one vocab word for math.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mia, this is why you're failing algebra.
Yes. And then she finds out that she has to do princess lessons after her algebra tutoring. So she doesn't get out of algebra tutoring. She still goes to it because she still has enough. But she has to go to princess lessons. And this is where we finally meet Grandmere. Oh boy.
Yes!
Grandmere.
She is such a mood.
She's like the worst and the best at the same time.
She is an awful, terrible person.
Yes.
And also, I want to be her when I grow up.
Yes.
Like, I love her so much.
She's this old, rich ass lady who's lived in the royal, like she's not royal. Her husband was the royal, but she's lived, in this top tier world her whole life.
Yeah, she's a dowager princess. You've seen Downton Abbey, right? I'm beginning to think that dowager anythings are just all the same personality type.
But like she's very same vibe as Maggie Smith in Downton Abbey, but I think more materialistic.
Yes,
more
absolutely.
bitchy.
Yes, 100%.
Like a modern version of her. Like she has tattooed eyebrows.
And eyeliner.
Oh,
no, she doesn't have tattooed eyebrows. She plucks them out every morning and redraws them on.
Yeah.
I love this line. Mia's like, which you think would be like against the point, but okay.
So she plucks out her eyebrows and she has tattooed eyeliner. Like, and then she has to get touched up every so often. But Mia's like, honestly, pretty smart. Yeah. Which, I mean, if you get through that pain.
She said it's terrifying, though.
To look at.
Yeah. She wears, like, negligees to bed. She has a boyfriend, for sure.
She has a boyfriend. And then she has that dog. What's the dog's
Rommel. Who's a miniature poodle with, like, who's just, like, terrified of the world.
Yeah.
And hates being touched. She's like, I'm like, that's why I don't mess with small dogs.
No, small dogs are different breeds.
Yeah.
Different creatures.
They're cats.
Yeah.
But less cool cats,
Yes.
Now that I know more cats.
Yeah. Some cats are great.
Yeah.
Yeah. My cats are great. Anyways, but so Mia is just, all of this is happening, right? Her life is literally changing. And she has to go do this really shitty princess lesson thing that she hates because she essentially is unlearning everything her mom has taught her about being a woman, right? In this womanhood, right? And she has to go and learn how to sit with her knees together so people can't see up her skirt because she's not allowed to wear pants. She has to wear pantyhose. She can't wear tights. She has to wear lipstick when she comes to see her grandma. Like,
she has to have nails
done, she of course is biting off her nails because she's like
anxiety
the
queen. Yeah,
yes, anxiety queen. Absolutely. And it's just, and then I'm trying to find it. Yes. And then she gets homework and she has to write about the 10 women I admire most in the world, which she brings back and her Grandmere rips up immediately.
It's like, these are not the women you should be.
Redo it.
And she's like, I put Princess Diana. And then...
But want to hear the list? I'm not going to read the paragraph.
Yes.
But here's the list. First off, Madonna, of course. Then Princess Diana. And then Hillary Rodham Clinton. Which she does talk about how she was a strong person for people talking about how her husband was cheating on her. Which, like...
And she was like, well, I'm going to govern.
Yeah. There you go.
R.I.P.
Picabo Street. Leola May Harmon. Who is there was a movie based off her life supposedly in the Lifetime channel.
Lip Girl.
Yeah, the Lip Girl. Yeah. Joan of Arc. Classic.
Joan of Arc, classic. Why didn't Grandmere like Joan of Arc? Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe it's not Genovian or something like that.
Yeah, but it's French and they like.
Yeah, she loves the French.
Yeah.
I don't know. Christie. from
the book.
Her favorite book, Christie by Catherine Marshall. Set in the nearby Smoky Mountains. Anyways, the lady cop I once saw. Mia, how dare you? This is off-brand for Mia to put, right?
Well, no, because they run to the cops when Norman chases them. Yeah. They don't have a progressive view of
the
cops like
justice system so far.
Yes.
Lily Moskowitz.
Because they're also rich, right? Like
Yeah, rich and white in New York. And then lastly, her mom, Helen Thermopoulos.
Oh, I love that she put Lily and Helen on there. Yeah, that's
right?
nice.
It's so sweet. Maybe she didn't like it because she didn't put her Grammar.
Yeah, probably. But it's like,
but
I wouldn't either.
Like, and it's the reason she puts each of them on is just fun, and Mia's voice is just excellent.
It's so strong. Yeah, she has like, she's such a well-written character.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Yes, very consistent. Oh, yes. Then over the weekend, she has to go on a Saturday, and she's upset she has to do princess lessons on the weekend because that's usually when she watches her movies and her Star Trek.
Paolo.
Yes, and she gets her her grandmere gives her a makeover, and she meets Paolo, who she's like, your name's just Paul.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. But she has like long nails, a whole hair.
Fake nail. And this is the 2000s. So
French
it's those
tip.
square ass acrylics with the French tip.
Yep.
Annoying.
Oh. And she got her hair cut, so it's no longer a yield sign triangle.
A triangle. Yeah, she had I don't know what is it curly, and so it's like I don't understand.
I think it's just curly and not in layers.
Okay,
and no
yeah.
product because she's 14.
Yeah.
Right. I very much had very similar hair at that age.
Okay.
Of like, yeah. Because you put too much conditioner here, so it's very flat, and then it gets dried up at the ends.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a phase when my hair was wilder. Anyways. But she also gets it dyed blonde, like Lana.
Like Lana. I'm like, okay, other people have blonde hair. Madonna, for one.
Uh-huh. And probably at least a third of that school.
Yeah, Princess Di.
Yeah. A blondie.
So
Blondie?
yeah, Blondie.
But she goes to pick up Lily for school the next day, and Lily is immediately pissed.
Yeah, why are you blonde? No other powerful woman on earth. Hillary Rodham Clinton, also blonde. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Lily.
But Lily's pissed because her best friend's changing to look popular is what it looks like. Like, and now she has expensive shoes and expensive purses.
And Lily's response is like, well, I'm going to bully you.
Yep. Lily's full on bullying her, and Mia's about to explode because she's failing algebra. Her mom's dating her algebra teacher.
She has no boobs.
She has no boobs. She's in
Boys
love.
Don't like her.
She's in love with Josh Richer,
who's the most sensitive boy in school.
Who's dating the bully.
Yep.
And she's a princess, and she has to go to Grandmere every day.
Yep.
And so of course she explodes. And
she has big feet.
Oh yeah, big feet. I forgot because she's tall.
Right.
Yeah. So she tells Lily to shut up, and Michael's with them, and Michael goes, "Whoa."
Such a boy respect.
He's like, "Whoa." And Lily and like Mia freaks out and is essentially like, "You keep telling me I need to stand up to people. I'm tired of you putting me down.
There you go.
Stop." Which
doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it, right?
A classic example of Mia's emotions exploding out.
And also she's upset. Lily's upset also with Mia because Mia had to skip Lily tells it like it is recording about the protest.
Oh,
so this sideline is so stupid, or side thing is so stupid. There's a deli across the street from the school that's run by a family called the Hose, an Asian deli. And Lily once saw, allegedly, Lily once saw that they did not charge the same price on the same item. They took 5 cents off to an Asian student who was checking out. If that's true, who knows? Lily just needs to be mad at something.
Yes.
Right?
And then she says, I've been racismed against.
And like,
Lily, you haven't been.
And like, she like talks about that's the first step of like that it will lead to the Holocaust. And like, Lily and her family, they are Jewish and they like celebrate like Rosh Hashanah and stuff. But like,
Lily, you're a rich white girl from New York City.
You're fine with
the Hose are not doing racism against you.
Yeah. And Mia agrees with that statement, but she's just a supportive friend.
Yes.
But she couldn't go to the recording, which means it couldn't happen because Mia runs everything.
Yeah.
Of course.
Mia's like, I think the Hose are actually nice. They like adopted a kitten and raised it.
Yeah.
This is where like Mia's sense of justice, I think, shines out. She's like, I mean, I don't agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So that all happened. And so for the rest of the book, essentially, Lily is putting on this, trying to do this protest against the Hose. And also, they're not speaking now, which is big drama.
Big drums. Because they've been best friends since, like, the first grade or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just, like, high school, man. Like,
yeah.
You fight with your friends.
Like, she makes a list of, like, reasons why I should make up with Lily, reasons why I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, she talks to Michael, tries to get Michael to give her information about Lily, which Michael's like, I don't care about Lily.
Yeah,
obviously,
I'm not paying attention.
Like,
right.
Like,
why don't you pay attention to
obviously.
me?
And she's so obsessed and upset. And then also, now, like, she doesn't know who she's going to sit with, right? It's like...
At lunch. It's very funny because Mia is actually, like, a very independent person where, like, she can entertain herself just fine. Like, and she doesn't mind being alone. But it's so, like, being alone in, like, at your house is fine. But being, like, an outcast and alone at
high school?
At a high school lunchroom... that's another, that's a different kind of story.
Yes. And so she ends up, she sees Tina, what's her full name?
Hakeem Baba.
Yeah, Tina Hakeem Baba, whose dad is...
Saudi Arabia. I love Tina so much.
Tina is great. One of my faves as the series goes on.
She's, like, obsessed with romance novels. But she's very pragmatic about them, but she gets Mia into them, and Mia is
obsessed.
Not. This is where the precious gift of virginity comes through. Yeah.
But also Grandmere a little bit later on, because Grandmere talks about it as a flower.
That's right.
Yeah. Gross. Anyways, and so she sits next to Tina, who's reading, and Tina also has a bodyguard currently because of her dad. And her dad's just very worried constantly.
Oh, yeah. And Lars at this point is, like, following.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Lars is just driving her to school. Okay,
currently. Yeah. And so, so she sits there and she starts, and this is where she realizes Tina is so great. And then, so she's like kind of looking up, like she's still very sad about the Lily thing, but she's like, at least I have Tina. And Tina's really cool, I think.
And
right?
Tina's been mentioned throughout the book before here, but like as like that freaky girl who has a bodyguard. Yeah.
Which bites you in the butt, because like a day or so later, suddenly they're going to school and everyone's looking at Mia, and Mia's like, oh, maybe it's the haircut I got 4 days ago. Like, no, everyone's over that, Mia.
Right.
Besides Lily.
Right.
And they realize that someone put out into the media that Mia is the princess. So the high school knows. And so now she has to deal with a bodyguard.
We have forgotten one of the most important scenes. The stabbing with the ice cream cone.
Oh, the stabbing with the ice cream cone.
Yeah, Princess Diary heads are screaming right now.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
So Tina, what happened? She's like, her and Mia are eating together.
They're eating together.
Tina,
Lana
Tina
comes at
so Tina is like, she's a little chubby.
Yeah.
And so Tina gets an ice cream cone for Mia. And then Lana, because she cannot help but bully, comes over and starts like shit talking.
And just be like, oh, your dad gave you money to buy friends?
Yeah, right.
Which like for sure did for you, Lana.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like you've bought your way into this popularity. So whatever. And then Mia straight up stabs... It's not stabbing, but she like, and if you've seen the movie, you know this scene, but she stabs Lana with her ice cream cone. I love this. I laughed so hard. I've seen the movie approximately 7,000 times.
Yeah, about
and
same.
I don't care how many times I watch it. I'm going to laugh my ass off at a mean girl getting an ice cream cone on her cheerleading uniform.
Yes, justice.
Ha ha ha. You bitch.
Yes. And like, but like this is like Mia, like day 1 told her best friend Lily to shut up because she was bullying her. Day 2 confronts the lifelong bully because she was bullying someone else, not because she was bullying Mia.
Yeah,
she was bullying someone else. And she was like,
confronted her in a way that would like
destroy
stick.
her like public image.
And that like it's so like it is objectively funny to everyone. Yeah. Like you can make fun of people's words and whatever, but like no, being stabbed with an ice cream cone is hilarious.
And it lands her in the principal's office.
Yeah. Which is
and I love
bullshit.
that.
This is like
Principal
classic.
Gupta. Classic. Iconic
Gupta.
Princess Gupta. I can't even.
I can't do it.
I can't picture Gupta being anyone else either.
The queen is coming.
TikTok using that sound once with my huge cucumbers in the garden. I'll show it to you next time. I'll load it up next time.
So excited.
Yeah. But I love that Mia also, this was her justification too, is like that she is like, yeah, I know I shouldn't have done it, but she was bullying and I'm not going to say sorry.
Hell yeah, Mia. This is
Yeah.
another sense of justice.
Finally.
It's like, no. Frick off, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I have done is the right thing. And you know what? It's non-violent. Ice cream stabbing is non-violent, and it sends a message.
Ice cream. Pro ice cream.
Pro ice cream stabbing. Not real stabbing.
Not real stabbing. Just ruining clothes with dairy products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially cheerleading uniforms
Yeah.
of all the clothes.
Ugh.
Not
They're
even
outdated
like,
anyways.
yeah, cheerleading sweater? What is this, the 1950s?
Oh, so there's more princess lessons and there more princess lesson stuff. We get a little thing that Grandmere hates VCRs.
Okay, and the reasoning is so wild. It's not like, oh, because she likes to go to the movies or like wants to promote the movie industry. It's because she believes that if God wanted us, like, yeah, so like if God wanted us to have VCRs, he wouldn't have invented coming attractions.
Yep.
I was like, what?
What?
Okay, first of all, Y2K alert! Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, that's like, what? Grandmere.
Yeah.
Get an actual reason.
Yeah. And
Like you think they emit microwaves that'll fry your brain or something.
Yeah.
It's not a correct reason, but it is a reason more than God wouldn't have invented coming attractions.
It's awful.
What?
Yeah. Then because of all, then Grandmere calls the publicity at this point.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. So like they go, her and Mia.
They're eating dinner.
Yes. And the Paps show up because Grandmere wants her to practice her, or like do her.
How to deal with the press.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Mia hates it because obviously she thought she was just having dinner with her grandma.
Yeah.
No, not quality time.
So without telling her, Grandmere goes in, calls a reporter, and then of course that's like, oh, the royal family is at XYZ. And Mia loses her shit.
And finally, this also is the reason that her dad and her mom start arguing about the situation. And then her dad finally almost confronts her Grandmere.
Oh, yeah,
her dad never confronts Grandmere.
Serious mommy issues.
Yes.
Her dad has. So.
Absolutely. But during this argument, her parents are arguing about the situation. Mia says, at this point, this is a double thing. At this point, I decided it might be best to retire to my room. I put my headphones on so I wouldn't have to listen to them fight. This is a trick I learned when watching kids on made-for-TV movies whose parents are divorcing. My CD right now is the latest Britney Spears. On my Kindle,
What? No.
it's Hilary Duff.
What? Wait. Your Kindle version you got from the library? Okay, this is wild because Janessa and I go to the same library and we got the two versions. Our library has two Kindle versions.
Yes.
I got whatever the first one was, and then right after that, you got the Kindle version.
Because I made a note on
Mine
this.
was Britney Spears.
It's in this book, in this hardcover book from the library.
It's Britney Spears.
But on my Kindle version, it's Hilary Duff.
Ew.
Well, rude.
No. But why take Britney out? Because but Britney is actually a more accessible star now
Yes.
than Hilary Duff is.
Yes.
So this must have been 2005 or something.
Did Hilary Duff have music in 2000?
No.
Right?
She I don't even think Lizzie McGuire had come out then.
I'm looking it up.
Okay.
It's really important to me.
I'm guessing Lizzie McGuire came out in 2002.
2000.
What?
Sorry, 2001.
Okay. Split the difference.
Sorry, 2001.
That's when Lizzie McGuire came out. Okay,
They
when did
premiered.
what's
Her
her
music?
first album? Yeah.
After
way after, like 2007,
Yeah.
maybe
Television,
2006.
web series, discography.
Wait, no, when did The Hills come out? Because
first,
Come Clean
Santa
was
Claus Lane, 2002.
No, we're not counting.
Metamorphosis, the album that we all know and love, 2003. I had that on CD.
Yeah, I was a big
with the blue.
Laguna Beach.
Fall.
Yeah. Because is it the Laguna Beach? It is the Laguna Beach.
I don't watch the Laguna Beach. I don't have cable.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I had PBS Kids.
Wow. Yeah. Highly suggest it. It's trash.
Love. But yeah, so
another rich kid show.
I love watching rich people be idiots.
Yeah.
Anyways, isn't that wild though that they switched it?
I don't understand.
I'm gonna look at.
I don't. Okay, what I don't understand for multiple reasons. I don't understand why our Kindle versions
are different.
I'm
gonna look.
They're both
right
from the
now
Libby app.
What the edition?
Oh, like they're different. Yeah, that would have to be
one. It's this one.
Oh, I have the one that's like the first.
So for listeners, I have the one that the cover is all pink.
Wait, can you show me it again?
It's blank pink.
Yeah.
And it has like the princess is blurry and then diaries is in the middle. It's like it's a diary.
Right.
It has a little lock and key on it. Did you have this one?
No. Here you can see the.
Just
we're this is a mystery. This is a mystery within this podcast. You're welcome, humble listeners.
Hi, Dad. I don't know if he made it this far into this episode.
And
Isaac. This is the 2008.
Oh, I do have that one.
Wild. What? Go to the end where it says the copyright.
The copyright. Let the rain fall down. Oh no. All day.
What's the next part? Let it wash away. Da, da, da.
Sanity.
Sanity? I'm for sure this made of words. 2000 is yours?
Oh my god, her name is Megan. Spelled Meggin. Wow. I've never seen that spelling. Good for her for going by Meg. Shade.
Roasted. So yours is 2000?
Yeah, mine's
so
2000.
by 2008, which makes sense because 2007 was the...
Yours is copyright 2008?
So we figured it out. So 2007 is the year, as we all know, that Britney Spears had her breakdown, the famous hair shade.
Yeah, so they took her out because... Okay, sorry, justice for Britney. Justin
always.
Timberlake is a bitch.
Absolutely. We are recording this, obviously, after the
post
memoir.
Yeah.
Which neither of us have read, but...
By the way, I am literally like 27th in line for the audiobook. Obviously, I'm reading the audiobook. And
I'm waiting.
It says like 3 months. And I am like, there's like 100 people on hold.
No, I saw that and I decided not to put it on hold, and I'll just remember in a year and do it when everyone's done with it.
Yeah. That's what I did with Jeanette McCurdy's book. It was worth it.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. But yeah, so if you're reading Princess Diaries, can you please, on page 177, find out what CD it mentions? And I wonder if the new editions changed it from Hilary Duff.
To whom?
I don't know. But now I'm going to go to Barnes & Noble and look at the brand new editions with the shitty covers.
With the terrible covers, worst covers.
Anyways, so I'm going to do that research, but also... if you listeners have a copy or on yourself have a copy, page 177, towards the bottom, tell us who the CD they reference and, I don't know, DM me or something.
Yeah.
No.
Don't reach out to me. No. Because you can't.
You can't. She's a
Unless
ghost.
you know me.
She's a ghost. Podcast ghost.
I'm podcast ghost. I'm ghost guest.
Ghost guest.
Ooh. Spooky princess.
Yeah, so all hell is breaking loose. Her parents are mad. Grandmere is shady bitch.
Yeah, she's
again
full shade.
Lily is mad at her and not talking at her. And of course, Mia's still failing algebra. Mom's dating algebra teacher.
Big feet.
Big
no
feet,
boobs.
no boobs.
The usual
tall,
list.
But has good nails. Well, no, she's chewing through her fake nails.
She's chewing off her glued on acrylics. Girl, don't do that. You're ruining your nail plate.
You're also ruining your teeth. Yes. Acrylics?
Yes. And she just got braces off.
Yes.
Yeah,
big thing.
at least her hair is good.
Yeah.
And blonde.
Yeah. And Michael is tutoring her in algebra.
That's right.
Which...
Rip the Band-Aid, Michael. Ask her to the cultural diversity dance. Very hard to say.
And she finds out... Okay, so this is the next day. She's going to school. This is the first day, really, that everyone knows she's a princess, like media too. And so now we have Lars following her. So now she is like Tina, who she used to call a freak for having a bodyguard. She too has a bodyguard. But now it's really cute that her and Tina sit next to each other and the bodyguards hang out together and talk about their guns.
About their guns and like how many people they've stopped from protesting.
Yeah. Yeah. They talk about how, like, what's better, pellets?
Like rubber bullets or hoses.
And I'm like, Lars,
Yeah.
I love you, but also... rude.
Yeah. Also, both trained by the Israeli military.
Yeah.
Wow. Topical.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. I didn't think about that. Anyways. So, like, that's, like, one nice thing is that they both have bodyguards so they can relate to each other. But, so this is happening, and someone joins them at lunch, and she looks up, and it's Josh Richer joins in, and Lana, and their friends.
Because Mia is
a princess.
press popular now. Yeah.
She's famous.
Yeah, she's America's princess.
Yeah. And so immediately Josh starts talking
Suck
to
it,
her.
Grace Kelly.
Suck it, Grace.
Just kidding.
But Lana starts being super nice to her and Tina. This is days after the ice cream.
Because Lana is a fakey McFaker.
Absolutely. And her boyfriend likes...
Josh is stupid.
Yeah. Josh is stupid. Josh obviously just wants her for the fame.
Okay. Sorry. This part, I read this today. I finished this book today. So basically the first thing Mia notices when Josh puts his tray down is he has like 7,000 pieces of processed food on his plate. He has like 2 cheeseburgers, a bowl of chili, like a bag of Doritos, 3 chocolate milks. And I was like, oh my tummy.
And she's like, of course, who eats that much? Oh, he needs all the calories for crew.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, girl.
But there's the line where they're like, they invite her to a party after the cultural diversity dance, I think. And she's like, no, my mom won't let me go. And they're like, loser!
You lied to your mom.
Yeah,
which is like,
she's like, no.
You
try lying to Paula Longager. I'll tell you right now, no.
Yeah.
She's a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I also like that she also was like, I mean, I'm not really into people who drink, and my friends don't drink, but I do have glasses out wine because it's supposed to go with the food in France.
Right.
And I was like,
she's like,
fair.
But to them, she's like, I don't really, because Lana's like, you don't drink? Which is, God, that was like me in high school. Not Lana, but Mia.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't really like to put toxins in my body.
Yeah.
And Josh is like, what? Yeah, I really respect that. As he's like snarfing a bag of Doritos with his chili.
But it doesn't matter because Josh agreed and disagreed with
and
Lana.
He's so sensitive. And he's
so sensitive.
And has blue eyes.
Just so sensitive. Yeah. And then the next day, or like a day or two later, it's big news. Josh and Lana have broken up.
Gas.
And he talks to her at her locker, and Mia is obsessed. And of course, the cultural diversity, and she knows by this point, Lily is going to the dance with Mia. Tina,
Boris.
Sorry. Lily's going to the dance.
Janessa.
Sorry. Lily's going to the dance with Boris. Tina has a boy that goes to a different school. Their other friend, Shamika. Shamika has a date.
Ling Su has a date.
Yeah, they all have
The only person who doesn't have a date is Michael, because he was going to ask Mia, but he would not just do the damn thing.
And also the computer club.
Oh, right. They're boycotting.
They're boycotting the dance because all the different cultural clubs get little things at this dance, little stands to put their trifold posters up, but the computer club was not a diverse culture.
Well, yeah, because Principal Gupta said the internet is not a culture.
Oh, yes.
And they are boycotting that, which is
wild
now.
So Y2K, this internet's nothing. It will be nothing.
Yeah. Whoops.
Just you wait.
Yeah. Wait 7 years until YouTube happens.
Oof, only 7. They're so close.
I know.
YouTube. Anyways,
when did Looking for Alaska come out?
Looking for Alaska?
Speaking of.
2008 or 9.
You can't tell me Mia's not reading John Green novels. I'm sorry.
Mia, of course, is reading John Green novels.
2005.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's reading John Green novels.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Drama.
Yeah. Anyways, so Josh, the dance comes up in their conversation, and Josh is like, "Oh, are you going with anyone?" And
she's
like,
she drops her algebra book everywhere.
Yeah. She's like,
which has random pieces of notes in it because she could not keep a notebook. And then she says no, and then he walks away. It's like that is the scene. He fucking walks away.
But it's because she can't. It's because she's like blacking out because that's her dream, and she's like, "Thank God for Lars, because now I know he's picking me up at 7."
No, he doesn't ask her in that moment. He asks her later.
Later?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, so who you're going with? And she says nobody, and then he just walks away. I'm like, I hate boys.
Ugh. Yeah, but he ends up asking her out, which is like
it does end up happening eventually, just not at that kind of naturally open moment. That would make sense.
Yeah. And so Mia's, of course, freaking out. But during Gifted and Talented later that day, when she's talking to Michael about it, Lily gets pissed off and then talks about how like Josh does drugs and all this stuff. Like, he probably smokes weed like at a party, right? Like, he's a high schooler.
Because they're rich.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. And so she's talking about like bashing him, and Michael's like, "Are you sure you're going?" And then Michael asks Lars, "Are you going?" And Lars is like, "Yeah." And then Mia describes it like, and then they do a head shake that men only get. And I think that when in 5th grade they separated us to talk about our periods, I think we learned about the menstrual cycle, and they just watched a video about how to do this head nod.
Please don't separate boys and girls.
No, for sex ed.
Come on. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
But yes, it's like.
It's like, Mia,
I twitch.
But also it's very sweet that Michael's
this
like,
is me
Lars?
to this day.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like,
huh?
People are like, he likes you. I'm like, what?
What?
Who? Hit that? No. Yeah. Oblivs.
Control Alt Delete.
In own head. So much. Cannot project out.
To quote myself from 4 years ago, brains are problematic.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. But Mia calls Grandmere. Grandmere is thrilled. They cancel Princess lessons because they have a special fitting at Coco Chanel. Nazi.
Oh, yeah.
Mia, rude. She talks about it too, but she still goes there. I mean, Grandmere's would force her.
Right.
But still.
Coco Chanel's French, so.
Of course. Oui, oui.
Take one accessory off before you go out the door.
But she does have a sleepover with Tina, and another Y2K alert. Tina and Mia put butterfly clips in Tina's brother's hair, and then Tina's dad gets pissed because because cultural.
Yep, cultural. Also, is her mom white?
Her mom's a British model.
Yeah, I was like, she's like, Mia was like, she's very blonde. I'm like, is she white?
Yeah, her mom's a British model, and her dad's the sheik of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Y2K alert, Tina has like every teen magazine that existed. Do they exist anymore? Who knows?
Yeah.
But lined up on bookshelves. She has every copy. I'm like, wow. I was recycling my 17 magazine after every issue.
I had a 17 magazine subscription for 6 months, and I read the shit out of those. And then I cut up the shit out of those, and then they were all over my wall.
Over my locker. Orlando Bloom.
I had America Ferrera in different outfits in my closet so that I could look at her while I was doing my outfit was my thoughts, even though I owned zero clothes that she wore.
For sure. Like a poor man's Cher's computer from Clueless. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, because they always have those articles where it's like, this is one top, you can wear it 8 different ways. I would put those up in my closet so I knew how to do a fashion, even though I was wearing the same bootcut jeans and a Life is Good t-shirt.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. We grew up in small towns. Leave us alone.
I know. We had a Walmart, but Walmart was too expensive for my mom to buy me clothes at. In her words.
Where's the closest Walmart? Rathdrum.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think. Yeah. So like a 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
Oh, no. There was probably one in Sandpoint. But
yeah.
Still, 20 minutes at minimum.
Yeah.
And then I had to, I live 30 minutes from
the
Priest
town.
River, so I had to go through town to get to Sandpoint. So it was like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. The dream. Anyways, I love Tina so much. But
Same. I love Tina, and Tina is one of my favorite characters throughout this
the
whole series.
Yeah.
She is so sweet and such, like, she's just like happy to be there.
Yeah. And she's a good friend.
She's a great friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's a little bit of a blabbermouth. But
yeah.
we all have our blabbermouth friend. You just don't tell the secrets.
Yep.
Or you tell them when it doesn't matter anymore.
Exactly. But so Mia is day of the dance. She's so excited. Mr. G is over again because he keeps being over.
He's like, "You're going with that Richter boy?"
Yeah, he's like, he's
fast. I'm like, she's
And
like,
Mia doesn't get
is
it.
he a rebel without a cause
Yeah.
now? What's going on?
Mia has no clue what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Ugh.
yeah. But Josh picks her up. They go to a tavern. All of his
No, they go
friends,
to Tavern on the Green.
Tavern on the
which
Green.
is like a nice steakhouse. It's
Yes.
like a touristy kind of thing now, but
yeah.
steakhouse. Oh, yeah, and we've mentioned that Mia is a vegetarian.
Like very loudly.
Yes.
Like her mom doesn't like it kind of loudly.
Yeah.
And all of his friends are there, and she's like, "Oh, I wish I would have known because could have invited Lily and Boris or all my other friends
Or
and dates."
Tina and whoever her date is. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the first
Red flag.
And then
oh, yeah, so Josh drives his car.
yes.
But Lars is like, "Okay, well, I have to go, so I'll just drive. And then you guys can sit in the back," and they don't talk at all.
And he says get to know each other. And they talk about one thing and then it's awkward.
Yep.
Yeah. And
she's like, "That's so weird because when Michael and I talk, we never shut up because we never run out of things to talk about." And I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah. But at dinner, they start ordering like champagne and no one's IDs are checked, and Mia's like worried about it, just anxiously. And then Josh orders everyone a steak.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Josh, the one thing they did talk about is that Josh's ex-girlfriend before Lana,
that's the one thing they talked about.
Is that his dad was like super rich or something like that.
Yeah, so his girlfriend before his ex-girlfriend was rich and got rich off of like making the vegetable bags in grocery stores that say open here or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, Mia's like, "Why the fuck would I care?"
Yeah. Ugh.
Oh God, she's such a slime ball. We all know Josh.
Absolutely.
For sure. Like,
and so she runs in the bathroom, spends a bit of time there, is mad, and then they get to the dance late, and she's mad that she's late because of course she's a freshman. She doesn't understand that you don't want to be there at 5:00.
Yeah,
you want to be there at 7:00, 2 hours after it starts.
Yeah,
and so she's mad that they're late, and they finally get up to the dance to drive, and Lars is still driving, and
Josh is drunk.
Yeah, Josh is drunk.
So it's like Mia's like, if Lars hadn't been here, was he going to drive his car drunk with me in it? I think she says, "That's not a very sensitive thing to do." I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, yes. I wonder why.
And they pull up and there's paparazzi vans everywhere. And so Lars and Mia are freaking out because Mia knows that she can't go in there without Lars. But Josh is like, "No, it's fine. I'll protect her." And drags her out of the car.
Yes.
Lars is pissed because, like, what's he going to do? Leave this car? Which he should have.
Yeah. And Mia's like, "How did they know?" And she has this thought like, I'm sure after I yelled at Gramir that she would not do this again without consulting me.
Yeah.
Which I think is like true.
True for a year.
Yeah. I was like, I believe this up to a point. That was literally my note. It was like, yeah, okay, for now. But yeah, so she's like,
yeah. And she's starting to realize it was Josh who called them, and she tries to confront him because he like stops them in the middle of nowhere, and
she's like, "Why won't you open the door? Just open the door."
Yeah. And he's like, and they're like, "Kiss, give her a kiss, kiss, kiss." And so he kisses her open mouth a lot. It was like, so just sexually assaults her.
Yeah.
Like
on camera.
But
he's rich.
But he's rich, and it's 2000. Right. And she freaks out. She goes inside finally, and then she just like, and then he comes in drunk, like, "Hey, what's the big deal?" Like, whatever.
Yeah. "Oh, it's just a kiss."
Yeah. And
she's like, "Did you fucking call them?"
And she like freaks out on him in front of everyone and rightly so, and everyone agrees with her. And so he's
I love this moment.
embarrassed.
I love this moment when she was like, you ordered me a steak. And she says all her friends in the crowd are like, and I was like, hell yeah. Get yourself good friends.
And then she goes off on him. He, whatever, probably goes and makes out with someone else later.
Yeah, well, no, they mentioned it.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I think Lars did one of his pressure point moves so that he was just like passed out against Krakatoa, a diorama of Krakatoa the whole night. So I was like, is he drunk? Did Lars
do a pressure point thing?
Yeah.
Both. But Mia runs to the bathroom to update the diary, of course. And Lily has asked Tina to come see if she is okay. So Tina comes in and checks on her. So like Mia's like, okay, Lily still like cares about me, which is like a first step or like a good step, right? And so she goes back in the dance, and the next entry is like from like that night or the next morning.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I have to go home because I'll be like the only freak alone here. And Lily's like, nah. Michael's a freaking loser here by himself too, which I love.
And I love it because she talks about it like, we were just talking and everyone's dancing to the fast songs, and this slow song came up and Michael just like, why don't we dance? And so we just kept talking during the fast songs and slow dancing to the slow songs like 5 or 6 times, and I was like,
and it was great. And we talked about like Deep Space Nine and whether Star Trek stuff, nerd stuff that is not my nerd stuff.
Yeah. Nerd stuff in space.
Yes. Space nerds.
Space nerds. And she just talks about, like, the last entry is essentially like, oh, I'm so happy. Yes. Like, and it's just so sweet.
And I feel like that's the theme of a lot of, like, that's the ending of a lot of the books is, like, Mia tries to hyper control a situation, relatable. And then it goes to shit because you cannot control life like that.
Yeah.
And then it comes back around to just, like, her being with her people, and that's when she's happiest. That's when she's most at peace. But it's a lot of her getting to that point of realizing like, this is where I'm actually happiest. Like, I don't need to have, the cutest quote unquote most sensitive guy in the school.
Yeah,
I don't need to it's just, I love it. It's so good. And it's just like, it's a story about a person who is finding themselves.
Yeah. And
a teenager.
And
like
also,
when it happens.
She finds out that she also now has a D in algebra.
Right. She's not so much of a freak anymore. She has a D in algebra.
She has a D in algebra. She slow danced with a cute boy.
Yep.
Her bodyguard.
Lily's talking to her.
Yeah. Like, Mr. G isn't so bad. Like, Grandmere came in clutch with a dress, so 1 point.
And the reason she was when she tells her mom that she's going with Josh, Mr. G is like, ugh. And then her mom's like, no, you can't go. And then her dad's like, no, you can't go. And she's like, basically like, Grandmere, they won't let me go. And Grandmare's like, the fuck they won't.
Yeah. You were representing Genovia at this school dance.
At this function. So like, Grandmere came in clutch, which is what happens quite a bit in this series, but also the opposite end.
Yeah, it's balanced.
Yes.
I love this book so much.
Oh my God.
It's so good.
I think this benefited so much from a reread when I wasn't in a pandemic.
Yeah. I can.
Yeah. I loved it. I originally rated this a 3 stars out of 5 pandemic, and I think I found it Mia annoying. Maybe some like self-hatred going on there.
I mean, it was a rough year for multiple reasons.
But I had like literally the first day we started reading this, Janessa and I texted each other like, we're just having the best time.
It's just fun.
I'm laughing so hard.
The whole time.
Like, it's just fun to like revisit your thoughts as a 14-year-old.
Yeah, and it's so accurate in the best and worst ways. Like, Mia is so relatable because she is cringy and not aware how cringy she is.
Yeah, have you met teenagers?
And that's like makes her so relatable. And like, I love the writing because it's like, this book's like eating candy.
Yeah,
it's just all good candy, but you're not gonna get a stomach ache. But I absolutely love this book. I yesterday went on eBay and because I used to own all these books, but for reasons I won't explain, they got burned.
Things we lost in the fire.
Things we lost in the fire. The mysterious fire.
Yeah.
That actually existed. But anyways, so I think I have one of them that I had to like, I don't know, at my dad's house, so I still have it, but like it's in Alaska, so
Right.
I don't count it anymore. And so I went on eBay and I will be getting all of them to have on my shelf because I do want to reread them.
Yeah.
And like I was looking on my Goodreads when I finished this. I for sure rated this 5 stars the last time I reread this. It's one of my all-time favorite books.
Yeah.
Easily.
It's
Just like it's nostalgic wise, but also it still stands today.
I want to reread the series as well based on my reaction compared to the first time I read it when I was 28.
Well, I will be re-owning them soon, and you can borrow them.
Because I remember there's a significant dip in quality in the middle.
But they get good again.
Yes, it peaks back up.
Yes. Did you read the Royal Wedding book?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, and the pacing, like to warn anybody who approaches this series, the pacing is completely bonkers.
It is.
The first 3 books are her freshman year, I think. Yeah. And then the next 5, I believe, are her sophomore year. And then the last official 10th book in the series is her senior year, like the end of her senior year. And then the book after that is she's like an adult, in her 20s. Yeah. So the pacing is crazy in this book, but it's worth it.
When I went on Goodreads to look at the last time I had rated it, I was rereading them in 2016.
Oh, another not
2015.
great year.
No, it was 2015. It was before I met Isaac, so 2015. And I had rated it 5 stars, but I listened to the audiobooks for those because I was in college because had time but I remember I wrote a note on my little review, don't read the audiobooks. Unless you like that person's voice. It was a little bit squeaky.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So, but these books are so easy to read.
They're so cool.
That I can't wait to read them every night.
Yeah. I think it took me like maybe a total of 2 hours to read, like across a week or so, like reading before bed. Yeah. So they're meant for younger audience.
Yes.
So and they're not fantasy, so
yeah, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts before the ghosty guest goes away?
Forever? No. No. Yes, I guess since I'm talking, but I think just like read this. Yeah. If you were a teenage girl and now you have a personality, we talked about the pretty personality dichotomy. If you are a girl and you now have a personality, you will relate to this book.
Or if you liked the movie, which we're talking about next week.
Oh my God.
But if you liked the movie, you'll like this book.
You'll like the book. It's a pretty good yeah. We'll talk about it next year.
Yeah.
Next year? Oh my gosh.
Next week.
Next week.
Ghost, come back.
I'm a ghost. Time means nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. Read the book.
Read the book.
Isaac, are you going to read this book?
Are you going to read the book, Isaac?
He says, no, I have prior commitments.
All right, we'll end it there. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you follow the Instagram for updates. December's going to be fun. I have plans. Follow us at Read the Book Podcast.
Do I need to look this up?
My brain. It's been a couple weeks since we've recorded, and my brain is tired today. And yeah, thank you for those that have rated us. We have 5 5-star ratings on Apple Podcast.
Mine says
hell yeah. Wait, is it more?
I'm going to look this up.
Live update. By live, it's pre-recorded and unedited.
12 ratings.
12 ratings?
5-star 12 ratings.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Rate
listeners.
this podcast 5 stars. If you want Ghost Guest to become even more unhinged with her opinions, if you want to hear Isaac Car Corner ever again, rate this podcast 5 stars.
Or else.
If you want to hear Amanda talk about apples...
The classic.
Yeah, if you want any of the classics,
yes,
come back.
Rate 5 stars.
Yeah.
Share what with your friends. And remember,
Read the book first.
I'm leaving that in.